It's your day in tech history, and it's brought to you by our friends over at Expedia.com, where you can find yours with Expedia. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here, and I welcome you to the Day in Tech History at dayintechhistory.com. It's part of the Tech Podcast Network. You can subscribe via iTunes, Zune, or Stitcher Internet Radio. Our Twitter is Day in Tech Hist, and all show notes are on the wiki page if you want to follow along. Now let's find out what happened on this day, your day in tech history. September 11th, 1940, Dr. George Stibitz, who was a Bell Telephone Labs engineer, demonstrated the first example of remote computing. He created and built the Model 1 complex number calculator a year before at Bell Laboratories. He left it in New York City and traveled to New Hampshire with a teleprinter, where he allowed attendees of the American Mathematical Society at Dartmouth to enter equations that were transmitted down phone lines and calculated remotely. Jump forward to 1995, Gole Cushing, otherwise known as the handle Alphabits, is arrested for selling stolen credit cards and cell phone information. And a U.S. Secret Service sting operation called Operation Cybersnare resulted in the arrest of 6 computer users and the seizure of at least 20 machines throughout several states. The operation was a sting made possible through a BBS operated by the Secret Service called Celco 51, or Chelco. I don't know if it was Chelco or Celco. 1996, Gunpei Yokoi resigns from Nintendo and founds his own company called Koto. 1997, the Mars Global Surveyor, which launched in November of 96, goes into an elliptical orbit around Mars, where it was intended to spend 2 years mapping the surface of Mars. And the Motorola Computer Group announces that it's leaving the Macintosh systems market due to an inability to reach viable business agreements with Apple Computer on licensing the Mac OS. Motorola also announced that it would not ship the StarMax 6000 system that it had previously announced. 1998, Mindspring agrees to purchase the Sprynet subscriber base and assets for $35 million from AOL. They acquired the Sprynet base when it took over CompuServe Interactive Services in February. And now this word from our friends over at Expedia. Las Vegas, Jamaica, San Francisco, China, New York, Portland, Florida. Have you been? Maybe you're from there and you need to start planning your trip home for the holidays. Now is the time to do that. With rates at their lowest for November and December, you can get great deals in planning your trip. That's where Expedia comes in, from air travel, hotels, cars, and full vacation packages. Because who doesn't want to be in a warm city during the coldest of winters? You can also earn Expedia points so you can use them on more trips all around the world. Get $25 off your first hotel booking at Expedia. Go over to geekazine.com/Expedia for more details. Over at Expedia, find yours. Now let's get back into your day in tech history. Back in at 2000, the United States Federal Trade Commission releases a report entitled Marketing Violent Entertainment to Children, a review of self-regulation and industry practices in the motion picture, music recording, and electronic gaming industries. It concluded that children were targeted by entertainment industry advertising for violent movies and video games. And in 2001, of course, we all know what happened on September 11th, 2001. I was personally driving up to Green Bay, Wisconsin to do a major Windows NT upgrade. And, of course, it was very scary at about 8 o'clock Central Time. That's 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We got the report that the first plane hit the one tower. And as we were listening, of course, the second plane hit the other tower. The buildings went down within hours, and of course, the devastation was just completely amazing. Here it is 10 years later, and we still feel the impact of that fateful day in 2001. And, of course, we would like to do a moment of silence for everybody that tried to get people out of the building and lost their lives or lost loved ones from that attack. In 2002, after a significant effort to locate it, the original post on which Scott Fahlman's proposal to use the use of emoticons in online forums is found by Jeff Baird in an October 1982 backup tape. 2007, MTV sees a major spike from their webpage after the Britney Spears lip sync fiasco. The Skype worm is first reported, and also in 2007, the New England Patriots were accused of using technology to record signals from the Jets' sidelines as to gain advantage on the field. 2008, TiVO and Research in Motion announce a partnership where you could review television schedules and set their TiVO DVRs to record select television programming to your BlackBerry device. Microsoft and Novell announce a partnership to where you can virtualize a SUSE Linux operating system running on Microsoft's hypervisor. Also in 2008, the Senate Judiciary Committee votes to give the Justice Department the power to file civil lawsuits against peer-to-peer infringers. This was an RIAA-backed bill and was This was an RIAA-backed bill and was the enforcement of the Intellectual Property Rights Act. And the second Seinfeld Bill Gates commercial hits the airwaves. And in 2009, Microsoft sets up the Codeplex Foundation, Microsoft's open source project to bridge the open source and commercial worlds. And that's your day in tech history. My name is Jeffrey Powers, www.dayintechhistory.com. All the show notes are over at wikizine.com, Geekazine's wiki. And of course, you can like the Facebook page and follow Twitter at Day in Tech Hist. Until tomorrow, take care. Day in Tech History is copyright 2014 JMP Enterprise and Geekazine.com.